Hey guys, Joe and Luke Simon, Salt Strong Brothers. We're back here on this cobia with Freedom Boat Club. This is video 2 of 3. We just did a trolling video, and now we actually found an area with a lot of fish, and guess what? We're fishing with the exact same things. The jig head, the slam shady paddle tail, same rod and reel, literally doing everything we did before. Same boat, same videographer. We got the same stinky clothes on after catching those fish, and now we're gonna drift this flat. So talk about what we're doing here.
Yeah, so in the first video, we just showed trolling and how you can find fish in areas you've never fished before pretty easily. And so now that we found some fish, we trolled over the spot several times. Every time we got slammed, we had a break off on a Spanish mackerel, we caught some trout. And knowing that there's fish here, now we're gonna go and do the slower method, which is drift fishing. So in this case, we turn the motor off. We are just letting the wind and the currents take us to the zone. So we just have to be mindful of which way the current flow is going, which way the wind is going, and then just have a good drift so that we can go drift over the strike zone, which in this case has been this grass flat that's right on the edge of a channel. We're in a boat that doesn't have very shallow draft, so we can't get up there, and we're not targeting tail and redfish. We're just going out and just getting some easy to catch fish. And the easiest way to do that is just to target just really the edges of the channel. Any sort of depth change that has some structure on the bottom, that's what you want to find. In this case, it's grass. If you're up in the Carolinas when there's not a lot of seagrass, look for oysters, look for anything other than the flat sand. Yeah. And you should have a lot of fish to be able to catch.
I'd call it a ledge, edge, or a hedge, right? There's gonna be some kind of little drop off there. And if you find that, you're normally gonna find some fish, you're gonna find some bait fish. We saw some earlier as we trolled through here, and I think we should fish this now. While
yeah,
we still
we're
got
gonna fish now. And so,
wind at our backs,
so what we have is we have the wind coming this direction and we have the current going that direction. So we have offsetting movements here. And right now the current flow is really not that strong. So the wind, even though it's light, the wind is basically overpowering us. So what we want to do is, I'm just going to get around Joe here, is what we're going to do is ideally in a perfect situation, we can cast with the wind and retrieve the lure with the current flow. And we're actually in that exact scenario right now. So we can use the wind to maximize our casting distance, and then we can retrieve the lures back with the current flow.
Oh, do you see that? That was a nice trout right there. Yeah, I actually saw it come and hit.
And so we have these paddle tails, and so for paddle tails, you can retrieve, there's a lot of different ways to retrieve it. Sometimes just straight reel has been good. The fact that we've trolled over them, I'm sure they're probably a little bit tired of that. We trolled over them probably 3 or 4 times. And so now I'm gonna do just a little bit of a jigging action. We're basically letting it drop into the grass and twitching it out.
Ooh.
And that should get these fish that we know are down there. Even though there's some mackerel. Oh, that's a ladyfish.
That's what I was getting hit with too.
Even though these fish, the boat's gone over them several times. If you get a good lure right down there close to their face, they can't help but to eat it. At least a lot of people think that saltwater fish are shy sometimes. In most cases, they're not. It's just about just finding them, number one, and just getting a good looking lure right down there.
Yeah, and so far this is uncut. And there's literally a boat ramp. If you want to scroll over there, right behind us. And we've already got both casts, we've already had hits and then a fish on. Just for getting tight lines. That's the whole goal of this. We'll do some separate videos in our Insider Club. We do videos on going after a little bit more tactical, redfish and snook and trout on the flats, or even in the third video, we're gonna start talking about, fishing bridges and some other types of structure. But just to go out with the family on a Freedom Boat Club or any kind of boat, and this is a big bay boat, right? And just go out there and get tight lines pretty quickly. That's the whole goal of this video. And this is not a special spot. This is not a spot that we fished before. We literally just saw this. We saw it was near an edge. Saw there were some birds nearby, and we said, hey, let's try it out, and already getting some tight lines.
Yeah, let's see if we can I know there's I want to get revenge of the Spanish mackerel. Had one slice through the line earlier, but yeah, it's just as far as the retrieve, and you can see my rod tip, I'm basically letting the lure get down there right next to the grass and just twitching it up. And just trying to trigger the instinct strike where that fish, most of the fish are holding down in the grass, particularly the trout. And when they see lure just pop out of the grass that's close to them, they can't help but to come up and and take a swipe at it. So Joe's on.
I got a trout. I
just had a trout.
No, hit your brother.
I just had a trout. And so the fact that we literally trolled over this flat multiple times
And it's literally right next to a pretty popular boat ramp. It's a nice trout.
Oh, there we are, got another one on next cast.
Whoa, mine just popped off as well.
Yeah, we're not doing the best job of
it's also a
keeping the fish on, but we're
pretty
hooking
big gunnel boat here.
So I'm not sure what this is. It's fighting a little bit weird. I might have snagged something.
Whoa,
no, osprey.
Oh, no.
I've never had this happen before in my life. So this osprey has my fish. I don't know
I
what
get to learn
do.
a different lesson here.
Yeah, this is not, so he's holding on with one
But your
leg.
osprey's not hooked. He's got a little trout.
Yeah, he's just holding it. There he is. Woo. I've fished many years. I've never had that happen. That is shocking. So I think what happened, let me get this fish in before that osprey gets it again.
Well, you just got to see the best fisherman in the entire area.
That was crazy.
The osprey. That came so fast.
So yeah, I was right. I'd snagged a fish. That was unbelievable.
Oh my
I've never had that happen before. So I had snagged that trout. Sorry there, little buddy. And that bird, you can see the talons had him good. Wow. That was insane. We'll let this guy get back in there. Oh man, that was crazy.
That was nuts.
Yeah, what happened is I had my tail bit off, something bit my tail, probably a puffer fish. And even though the tail's off, these lures do work great. They have nice darting motion in the water.
Ooh,
and the fish just absolutely love them. So off to a pretty wild start. Let's see what else we can get a hold of.
I got him right. All right, another trout here.
Yeah, so Joe has a little trout there, swatting a good little bite. And so right now we have perfect conditions where we're casting with the wind and retrieving with the current, as I mentioned. It's not always gonna be the case. And just so you know, ideally is you're retrieving the lure with the current flow. But as long as the current's not very strong, that's not a requirement. That's just a nice to have. So if the wind is really strong and the current is light and the wind is just significantly overpowering the current flow, I would just say go ahead and cast with the wind, even though you're retrieving the lure against the current. The current's so light, it's really not going to matter that much. And as far as structure to fish, yeah, we have Coast Guard helicopter coming over. But as far as types of areas to fish, as we mentioned, stay near the channels. We don't have a shallow running boat, so we don't want to risk going out. We don't want to risk going up and getting stuck somewhere. So stay on the edge of the channels. Find an area that has at least some current flow exposure, and also has some sort of structure on the bottom. It could be oysters, could be seagrass, could be rocks. Just anything other than flat sand is going to be enough to hold fish. So if you're in the Carolinas and you don't have grass like this, just know that
another trout came falling up.
Another trout. Yeah, if you're in the Carolinas or somewhere where you don't have a lot of seagrass, just know that oysters work great as well. Further down south where there's more mangroves and not much seagrass, the mangrove roots, just find an area where the channel goes up close to the mangroves and you can do the same exact thing. I've just got one of them as well. So we're on a fun little bite here. Oh, I have a puffer fish. So this is...
Oh, the kids like it.
This is the fish that is responsible for ruining soft plastics. No matter how good the soft plastic is, these little guys can do some serious damage with it. So I'm gonna get some pliers and let that guy go. Really cool looking fish. They blow up and everything. As a kid, this was like the coolest fish ever. And so go out and bring some families out with some small jigs in the grass flats. You can catch all sorts of species.
Oh, ladyfish time. Once again, as I said earlier on video number 1, keep some of these ladyfish if you want to do a little cut bait later for if you find like a good area where there's like a redfish. We call them redfish highways. Man, these things are great for cut bait. And they're a blast for the kids to catch too. And watch out, they will poop all over your boat.
Yeah, just an aggressive fish.
Oh man.
Pretty much eat anything. And they often roam the flats like this. So right now I just have the tailless paddle tail, and I'm getting just little small stuff popping in a lot. Oh, there we are, got something. Oh, a little pinfish. Little dink pinfish.
But here we are, guys. We still haven't moved, and we're all literally, once again, right behind this really busy boat ramp with a lot of traffic, and are catching a ton of fish.
So now I'm using a super nub, and the fact that we do have a lot of small bait fish, I'm still gonna give this a whirl. As long as it's rigged properly, which it is, it'll have a nice, good darting motion in the water. And even with this tiny little nub, sometimes this actually does better. I've actually caught big redfish with little nub lures like this. So just again, bouncing it through the edge of the grass. No telling what we're gonna catch. Perhaps even osprey too. That was crazy. There we are. So this is on the little nub again. So in this case, I got a
nice trout.
So again, same thing, and we're right on the edge of the grass. We're basically getting off the grass to look for ospreys now. Make sure we don't have another osprey encounter. Oh, and he's off. Another quick release. So in many cases, if you do want to keep your fish with boats like this that are really high off the water, is bring a net. A landing net will significantly help land fish. So there's these trout have tender mouths, and we try to lift them up over the gunnels. In many cases, they get off. Today, we're going to be releasing them anyhow, so it's not that big of a deal. But just something to keep in mind if you do want to come out here and bring home some dinner for the family, because this is a great way to catch dinner. A lot of these trout we're catching are small, but do this enough and you just find one good pocket of fish, those bigger fish will be holding together and you can just go catch a ton of them and have some really good action.
Yep, so we're gonna end it here. This is just one quick area, and this is for the most part all just live. I think we did one little cut. I don't know, I haven't seen the final version here, but this is so simple. We literally just found an area that was good based on trolling and then stopped there to fish it with the exact same tackle. Don't have to get all new stuff, but of course, if you do, then come join us in the club. We're our insider members. We now have 30,000 members, so I just got a hit while I was letting it sit up there. Save over 20% or more on everything in our tackle store. There's two other things to do. Number one is to make sure to look out for video number 3. So the first video we did with Freedom Boat Club was on trolling. This is obviously number 2. And number 3, we're gonna go fish some structure, maybe with some shrimp. I don't even know, we'll see what happens. Yep. And then the other part is, if you don't own a boat or maybe thinking about selling your boat just to simplify life, definitely check out Freedom Boat Club. We've teamed up with them a couple times. This is one of the nice cobia boats here in St. Pete. It is really awesome deal. I mean, the fact that you don't ever have to trailer your boat, or if you got 3 young kids like me having to worry about all the things that happen after the fact, from cleaning up and just like, sometimes it ruins your day off having a flat tire. The things that happen usually off the water are the most frustrating. And so definitely check out Freedom Boat Club. I really think it is an amazing deal, and it's gotten so many more people and so many more families out on the water.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And so again, to help, if you want to do that and just catch more fish, definitely check out our Insider Fishing Club, saltstrong.com. We have a ton of tips and really the foundational stuff you need to go out there and succeed on every single trip and have a ton of fun on the water. So that's it for now. We're going to go do the third and final video next, and we'll see you there.